yeah, I think tonight we should be in for another cracking evening of racing. And yeah, the season so far has been absolutely fantastic. And tonight should be no exception.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. This is certainly one of my favourite circuits personally, just to drive. It's a great race circuit as well. Difficult to make the overtakes, no doubts about that. But you get great side-by-side action, of course, through that first part of the track. And if anyone saw the Josh Thompson, Nick Foggy bats around here in the Radical SR8, they will know that this track can provide great racing, especially in the middle of the course. Also, in the championship, we've got Nick Madsen leading the way currently. He's 65 points clear of Jamie Ayres, with Chris Wood gaining 9 positions in the last round. He's now up into P3. He won race 3 last time. Ronald Means is up into 4th with Max Rates in 5th. Then it's Dennis Melcher in 6th, the last showdown spot. Remember, these drivers need to finish in the top 6, so in the opening 9 races of the championship to qualify for the showdown. Then the points will be reset, and it'll be a 3-race showdown for those drivers. Just missing out at the moment is Haynes, White, Deemer, and Flanagan. And of course, today Ryan will be getting the reverse grids in both races. And I think around this circuit, I've already mentioned how it is a little bit difficult to overtake. And through those first few corners, it can be a little bit of a bottleneck. And when you've got a 20-car 9 field like we have today, it could provide some issues.
Yeah, with the field being so tight and so close this season so far, I think around Imola with the reverse grids, I think the racing's going to be close. But I think tonight it's just going to require in all 3 races just a bit of patience and a bit of common sense and just good racecraft from people and just again just patience and being sensible. So I'll be interested to see how all 3 races go tonight, and also with the reverse grid, it'll spice it up for that. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure if we just had one race based on qualifying, it'd still be a great series. But that reverse grids, particularly at Snetterton, it was absolutely superb. We did see a few first corner incidents as well. Hopefully, we won't see too much of that right now. But we've also got Sam Kumo out there, which is absolutely fantastic to see. He is actually the reigning champion, putting no pressure on him whatsoever. And he's currently in 8th place. And Ryan, considering how a lot of these drivers are new to this car, there's no doubts about it, but it's not an easy car to just jump into and put in a good performance. And seemingly Sam, coming back to this car for the first time in a while, doing very well currently.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam's not raced this car for quite some time, I believe. So yeah, to jump back in the car and to be right up there currently in where's he at the moment? P8 at the moment. It's a good effort from Sam, and hopefully he can get some decent results tonight.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of the drivers to watch out for, currently in the top 10 in qualifying. Yeah, we'll see if he can keep that up. Jamie Ayres just putting in another lap time. He seems to have enough fuel, I must say. Of course, these drivers don't want to overfuel themselves in qualifying, but I guess it's a little bit difficult to do this, Ryan. Of course, it is a fixed setup series, actually, thinking about it. So, not sure how much fuel they've got in that car, but yeah, they should be able to go pretty flat out for this entire qualifying session. And just getting a little bit of a tow is Nick Madsen on the car just ahead. And that's quite clever tactics there, Ryan, but he needs to try to dispatch this car going into turn 1. I think it's Tristan Bollis.
Yeah, I think yeah, Nick's too close to the car in front, so I think he's a little bit too close. I think the gap he would have wanted is probably around about a second or 1.5 seconds to try and use as much of the slipstream as possible. But yeah, he was too close to the car in front, so it might have compromised his lap. It might have not, but if I was Nick, I would, as I say, I would have tried to maybe hold back and maybe just make sure that the gap was 1.5 seconds just to utilise that slipstream.
Well, he's only got 45 seconds left, so I doubt he's even going to get this lap in, because I can't remember what the rules are in this one, but I'm not sure if the drivers are allowed to complete their lap times or whether they've got to get it done within the time limit. Do you know how it works with the BSR leagues, Ryan?
I think if you cross the line, yeah, he can finish the lap. If he crosses the line before it gets to 0, he can complete the lap.
Okay, cool. Nick a little bit over. Yeah, just carrying a little bit too much speed going into that chicane. Not a chicane favourable with main drivers, but in this car at least, it is very possible. The car deals with the curves very well, and of course this is a big braking zone downhill, and you got to brake very early, of course, and he is going to be able to complete this lap. Haven't seen any 1Xs or 4Xs so far, so it should be eligible, but he is going to go
Dives
into
into
the
the pit.
pits instead. Very anticlimactic. Got a few more drivers out there still, of course, Teddy Clark and also Stuart McFadden, the current pole sitter, also just putting in another lap time. Here comes going across the line. Chris Danes currently in 3rd position, but Kip Stevens not having it his own way currently. He has not set a lap time yet in this session, so he's down in 28th currently, and he only moves up a couple of places up into the top 25. With Kip, I don't think he particularly likes this car, Ryan, but his experience in the BSR leagues have really helped him with his racecraft, and that's where he's going to be able to make up positions.
Yeah, absolutely. Kip's he's got a lot of experience in the on the BSR scene, and yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he's really comfortable. Well, not comfortable, but he's not quick in this car. But he's more than a safe pair of hands, and he always seems to make it to the end of races from what I've watched and get the point. Excuse me, get the points to help him in the series. And yeah, he's a dab hand in the BSR scene.
Jamie Ayres was a little bit hairy the last time we saw him, and there you go. That is very hairy going around there. That's going to be something to watch out for, of course. These drivers will be running max rear wing. Oh, no, well, it's fixed setup. I keep on forgetting it's
Yeah.
fixed setup. So I will get the hang of it by the end of this 12-week series, but pretty much everyone's set a lap time. But it is great that it's fixed setup, Ryan, in the end. That's one of the best parts about this series. And I think for the drivers, it's just so good to see a driver going half a second faster instead of thinking, is that set up or is that my driver skill? You know it's you that you got to improve on. I think that's a great aspect.
Yeah, I agree. I think making this series a fixed setup, I think it'll help. It'll help some of the people that are not very good at doing setups or don't really know what changes affect the car, what not to change and what to change, and yeah, making it fixed setup. This season so far, it's definitely made the racing and the field really close, and it's been hard to predict who'll win each race. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how tonight goes with it being fixed setup.
Yeah, will be very interesting indeed. But the favourite for this race is most likely going to be Stuart McFadden because he starts on pole position for race 1 of the evening, over half a second, half a second faster than Nick Madsen. That's really impressive there from Stuart. But Nick got the triple in round 1, would not that, do not count him out whatsoever. Teddy Clark starts on the second row alongside Chris Danes and Ferenc Kern. Very good performance. Up in 5th, Chris Wood in 6th. Of course, he did win that race 3 at Snetterton. Picked up on the mistakes, I think, from Danes and another driver. He collided into one another, and he just profited from that. But a few more drivers to get onto the grid. How important do you think the start is for Nick Madsen to try to make the move on Stuart McFadden? Because I've banged on about it so far, Ryan, but overtaking is really difficult around here. So maybe Madsen's best chances off the line.
Yeah, I think if Madsen can get ahead of McFadden into turn 1, I think he'll have the upper hand because around Imola, especially in the first sector, it's so difficult to try and make a move on someone. So if Madsen can get ahead of McFadden into turn 1 and just try and control the pace, I think he'll have the advantage in the race, and it might be able to help him. Might be able to help him win race 1.
Yeah, how important will this start be? Certainly very, crucial, I think, for these drivers. You can see the track just sloping away. A lots of kind of camber on the circuit. And we are away now. Race 1 of the evening. And it's a fantastic start there for Stuart McFadden. Nick Madsen's going to be able to hang on to P2 seemingly, but not comfortably from the drivers just behind. But
That's
McFadden
it.
can take a normal racing line going into turn 1. Maybe a little bit of contact between
Oh,
third and
contact
fourth.
between
And there is
Clark
big
and Dane.
contact now. And actually almost going round there is Teddy Clark. He's lost a couple of positions already and could lose a couple more.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the field as well to see if there's any issues in turn one. Everyone seemed to make it through all right. As yeah, as who's that? I'm trying to think. That's Kern trying to make a move on Teddy Clark.
Yeah, so Kern didn't get a great start either. He's down 2 positions from 5th on the grid. And you can see the cars just racing their way through. But Stuart McFadden, what a start that was from him. He left the rest of the field to dust off the line. And he's already got a nice little gap over Nick Madsen. He's got an even bigger gap over Chris Danes up into the top 3 already. But it's getting very close between the likes of Wright, Hefford and Henny. Not too far behind. In the mid-pack, you can see them here side by side. Almost a little bit of contact. Is extremely difficult to go around the outside into this next chicane. But they're going to try it.
I wonder if bit of contact on the exit there between Hefford and Wright. Contact.
And into the wall there. Not sure who that was. Was
That
it
was
Steve
Steve
Hefford? It
Hefford.
was Steve Hefford. Into the wall. And you can see the damage on that car. I think he'll get a fast repair, but that's pretty much his competitive race over. He was very slow beforehand, maybe getting a poor exit, and then got a tap round into the wall.
Yeah, I think Hefford got a slowdown because he took towards the left curb on the exit of the chicane, and he had to slow right down. And I think it just caught Max right out, who had nowhere to go, but into the back of Steve Hefford. And yeah, it was unlucky for Steve, but yeah, I was about to say everyone made it through lap one safely, but yeah, I take that back.
Well, it was better than race 2 and race 3 at Snetterton in terms of the race starts, where we had horrendous pile-ups in turn 1. But this time it hasn't been quite that bad, just a little bit of door banging and a couple of cars, unfortunately, seemingly dropping out of the running already. Danny Henny, what a great start that is for him, up 7 positions from 16th on the grid, but Richard Haynes is trying to make back that position. He hasn't got a bad start either, up 3 places from his starts. And he's right on the tail currently of the 99 car. Adam McNally, also great start for him. He's up 4 places. Ahead of Prince Kern, who must have got back past Miguel Freitas then. So watch out for Kern, who really impressed at Snetterton. And this pack 3, 4 and 5, all very close currently.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just watching Adam McNally at the moment. He's caught up to his teammate Teddy Clark, and behind McNally, he has got Kern, Freitas, and Jamie Ayres. Jamie Ayres is not too far back.
Are you going to go see a move into Rivatsa this time? Not quite though for Haynes. He was almost within passing range, but it's such a narrow circuit this. When you go down the inside and a very slow car on the inside,
That's
it's
Jamie Ayres.
Jamie Ayres. And that's how much a slowdown can cost you around this circuit, Ryan, in these opening couple of laps. And it's horrendous when you get it because you don't want to serve it, but yeah, you really have to. And it can cost you upwards of 5 seconds.
Yeah, you don't want to get a slowdown around here, especially at a track like Imola, as we were just looking at a replay of Ayres cutting the chicane and getting a slowdown. And yeah, he must have. Who's that on the inside?
Haynes, so he was trying to go for the move. Was it?
Car spun in the background.
Oh, and that's nearly a pile up as well. Michael Hall round. So he's going to be right to the back of the field. Lots of drivers struggling already.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just seems to be people maybe trying too hard in the early stages of this race. I mean, it's a 35-minute. Oh, it was a car spun.
And round the 69 car, Ronald Moons. Well, he was profiting quite a bit from all those incidents, but he's going to be right to the rear of the field now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just seems who was that? Right, Ronald Moons just seemed to lose the rear end on the exit of the corner. Maybe possibly too much power on the exit and just looped it round.
Yeah, seeing a few oversteer moments from drivers so far. So yeah, that just adds to the collection. Adam McNally in 7th place now. So Kern actually has lost out, has he?
He's gained a position.
Yeah, so Kern is P6.
Ooh, sideways moment from McNally there.
And yeah, McNally is actually closing it on to the back of these guys. Sam Kuma, we haven't really talked too much about him. but he's last right now, and this is why.
Oh!
So that's how Sam Kumo fell to the rear of the field. And yeah,
Yeah,
he's in 27th place now.
yeah, sorry about that. I thought it was live.
Oh, I've done that plenty of times, it's no worries.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I was on as Teddy Clark's gets it on two wheels. Steady on, son. But yeah, it just looks like Sam just had nowhere to go but into the car in front of him, which was unlucky because Sam was having a good run.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see him back for race 2 and race 3. Hopefully he won't drop 2 laps down, otherwise he won't be eligible for the reverse grid. And we've got a little bit of an overtake here. So nearly contact. Miguel Freitas currently going past Rick Cullinan. And Cullinan actually struggling a little bit. Holding up Lee Deemer hasn't for a little bit, apologies. Oh, and Haynes is off the circuit on the inside
Yeah,
once again. He's had a troublesome day and doesn't get any better.
yeah. I'm not sure what happened to Haynes there. He must have spun or just he must have had the same issue as Ronald did the lap before. Just too much power and looped it.
Yeah, clearly a corner that the drivers are struggling with so far. Christine still under pressure from Chris Wood. I've already said how, you know, when you got 2 drivers of the same name, it's not good. We had 3 Michaels at one point in a season, they're all really quick. Thankfully, 2 of them have dropped out, so that's very good. But currently, the 2 Chris's may well be side by side going into turn 1 because this is a long pit straight. Chris Wood closing with the slipstream. It's not a overpowered slipstream whatsoever in this car. It's pretty realistic, and you can
Slowly
see him
closing up.
closing, and he might look to the inside, but not the confidence. You gotta have a lot of confidence because we're on a narrow circuit with long braking zones and and in this car, Ryan, it's very difficult to pull off the move.
Yeah, I think Chris was thinking about he was thinking about going for the move and then decided against it because he wasn't really he was close but not close enough to try and stick it up the inside. But yeah, he decided to back out of it and yeah, sensible driving by Chris Wood and yeah, car spun at turn 1.
Oh, Richard Haynes. Well, probably the worst 4 laps of his life here. He nearly makes contact as well to Kip Stevens. That would have made it even worse.
As we look back up towards the front as Terry Clark is now coming under pressure from Ferenc Kern.
Yeah, and McNally's going to be onto the back of these guys relatively soon. Well, McLaren was only slightly faster on that last lap. These guys are losing time to the drivers ahead, so there's no real risk of this turning into a much bigger battle. It's going to just be a 3-way battle, I think, to the end of the race. Clark's got to be careful not to pick up a slowdown course over that chicane, but very good line, and you get that concertina effect, Ryan, coming out of the chicane. It's very difficult to stay close on the exit, going down into Ravazza.
Yeah, that chicane, the exit is. Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
wow.
Jesus, Ferenc. Nearly gave me a heart attack.
Wait,
But
that
yeah.
was as close as it gets.
Oh. Yeah, I was going to say that the exit of the chicane is you need to try and get the exit of the chicane spot on to try and get a run on someone going down the hill into that left-hander. Otherwise, if you get a bad exit, you just lose too much time.
Currently, Christine's still doing enough to hold off Chris Wood. 0.4 of a second. Wood was super close there going into turn 1, but yeah, could not pull off the move and couldn't even get alongside. Just shows the difficulty of overtaking. Seemingly around this part of the circuit, he can maybe go for a surprise attack occasionally, but he's nowhere near close enough. He needs to be on the bumper if he's going to go for an overtake. It's mainly calm down the field. Michael Hall and Scott Malcolm and Anthony Jacobson all very close to one another currently. There's the 3 of them separated by about half a second currently, but that's only the fight for 19th place, 18th place, sorry.
Yeah, just looking down towards the field at the moment. Jamie Ayers is caught up to Michael Blake, and yeah, he's putting him under real pressure.
Yeah, this is about to for the final place in the top 10. Michael Blake up 7 places. Jamie Ayres with that slowdown earlier on. He could have well been in the top, probably 8 or so at least. maybe even fighting for a top 5. I mean, say he's just trying to get back into that top 10 right now. And you can see just not getting close enough coming out of the chicane. It's so difficult to do. And you've very much just got to kind of trust your own braking down into this next couple of corners to round out the lap.
Yeah, absolutely. The exit of that chicane, you want to try and keep as much forward motion as possible and try and keep the car straight to get back on the power. But yeah, it's a difficult corner to get right. As yeah, we look back up towards the front, and Kern is still putting Teddy Clark under some serious pressure, and I think it's only a matter of time before Kern gets a slide on there. It's only a matter of time before Kern passes Teddy Clark, I think.
Yeah, he's only got 4 more laps to go, and there's a spinner just ahead, I think. And there it is, Chris Wood from 4th position, putting a lot of pressure on Chris Danes, and he's absolutely dropped it through the Villeneuve chicane, and back into 7th place now. And here's the replay of it. He'd lost touch, really, with the other Chris, and too much curb, and round he went.
Yeah, he just took too much of that anti-cut on the inside and just unsettled the car, and Chris tried to get back in the power and just the car just decided to spin round on him. But yeah, it was unlucky because Chris was having a good run.
Yeah, it makes this battle even more important. Teddy Clark, though, I don't know about you, Ryan. He seems to be dropping out a little bit with his connection currently.
Yeah, he seems to be blanking quite a lot. And yeah, if I was Karen behind him, I think I would be a little bit uneasy at maybe trying to make a move, as Karen has got a run on Terry Clark and he tries to go for a move.
Well, he looked to the inside, didn't he? But he wasn't quite wasn't willing to go for the lunge down the inside. So difficult to do. And of course, on this circuit with so much
Clark's still
grass and
blinking.
gravel. Yeah, he's blinking quite a lot, and that, of course, that's not going to help the slipstream effect whatsoever for Kern, but he is closing in within 0.3 of a second now. Adam McKnight will just be watching this, hoping for a mistake from either one of them. Kern almost looking to the inside into turn 1. He certainly looks a lot quicker, does Kern, I'd say, but so far amongst the top drivers, we haven't seen a single overtake.
Yeah, it seems to be the rest of the field seems to be more spread out, and I think this freeway battle with Clark, Kern, and McNally, I think this is the main battle going on at the moment.
Oh, he's that much closer, is he? Just going up the hill, quarter of a second, but that slipstream effect just not doing enough for him. And this isn't a big braking zone. And yeah, once again, he is just behind and overtaking around this part of the circuit. Extremely difficult to do.
Yeah, Kern's. Oh, I thought Kern was going to make contact with Clark there. Kern's got a good run up to the chicane. If Kern can get a good exit on this chicane, he might be able to get a run on Clark. As just having a look behind, Kern's got a reasonable run.
Yeah, he's getting a good run consistently coming out of that chicane, isn't he? And it's giving him a chance down into a battle where he looked to the inside here against Kern. Maybe he was just defending from Adam McNally. Difficult to see what McNally will do in this situation. We just tried to pick them off or
Kern's got a run.
Fight. He is that much closer though this lap. He's about a 10th closer than he was on the last lap. And with that little bit of damage for Teddy Clark, maybe Prince Kern is going to have a chance here. Going into turn 1, you can see he's so close. He'll go to the outside. Going into turn 1 is Prince Kern. He's going to try to outbrake him on the outside. It's so difficult to do. Teddy Clark is going to run him out of road almost. And Adam McNally almost gets involved and almost loses the car. But for now, the status quo remains.
Yeah, Kern tried to go round the outside there, and Clark just left just enough room for them both to make it through turn 1. But yeah, that was so close to ending up in disaster.
He's close to this part of the circuit as well, and I just think maybe going into one of these corners is maybe going to be his best chance. Go for the surprise attack. Can so close, but of course no braking zone. Down into this one, he might still look to the inside. Not quite there, putting a lot of pressure on his rival. And is he a little bit wide? He is wide. Clark made a big mistake, and he's all the way around his Prince Kern. Teddy Clark went across the circuit there, and I think he might have a slowdown or a 1x, surely. But now he hasn't given the position to Adam McNally, and seemingly he's going to hang on for it to now.
Yeah, that was a yeah, that was a bit of heart and mouth moment there. I thought it was going to be a pile up.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, couldn't it? With, well, where is he now? Fence going down to 12th place. He isn't even close to the car ahead. 2.7-second gap between him and the next driver. But this has worked out brilliantly for Adam McNally. I was questioning, was he going to go for the moves on the pad then, or was he just going to wait behind, wait for mistakes? He's waiting for a
Oh,
mistake, but he's
McNally,
off
where are
the
you going?
circuit now, is Adam McNally. And that was very reckless there, Ryan.
Yeah, I thought he was going for a bit of rallycross there, maybe maybe practicing for the rally World Rallycross Championship in iRacing. But yeah, that was
Hold
a
on
bit.
to it pretty well, to be fair to him. But he doesn't need that much practice.
Yeah, yeah, I was one. That was a bit reckless there. I think he's more than content just to sit behind his teammate Teddy for the moment. I think they've got a big gap behind them, so I don't think they see the point of each other scrapping away and possibly getting caught by people behind.
Yeah, Chris Wood actually has done really well and was a second faster than these guys on the last lap. Chris Wood just, yeah, getting the job done after that spin earlier on. And he could still catch up to these guys. He's certainly faster than them from what we saw in the early stages, but he's going to run out of laps, unfortunately. Only got 1.5 of them to go. Still close between Henny, Blake, and Ez. Ez getting very much stuck in 10th place, but here is the
And
battle
now
we're
he's got a
really
running
watching.
Clark.
Clark and McNally.
Oh,
McNally almost going to the outside and got to make sure they gets it stopped. Just about does, but maybe even looking to the inside there. Half a chance for McNally. But now heading onto the pit straight, what's the gap? Nearly 3/10 of a second, so he's not right nose to tail, unfortunately. But he's still going to have a chance going into turn one, as long as, of course, he doesn't go for some more rallycross practice there. Adam McNally.
yep. We're just on the final lap as well.
Yeah, they've closed in on Nick Madsen quite a bit as well. I don't know if Madsen's maybe got some fuel issues. I don't know how he would because it's a fixed setup series, but oh no, that was my screen. Oh no, that's Chris Danes catching up to Nick Madsen's apologies. There's still a battle for 4th place. McKnight's really close onto the tail. We look to the inside into the hairpin. No, he won't. Also really close between Henny and Blake. So about 2/10 of a second, although just say that they expand a little bit. Blake pretty much spending the entire race behind Henny after his great start. Although Blake once again showing that he's not fantastic in qualifying. Very quick in the race though.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say, Teddy Clark's doing an amazing job of holding Adam McNally up. He's defending well, hard but fair.
Yeah, so far he hasn't done anything dangerous, has he, Teddy Clark? And he's going to get to the end of the race
As
unscathed. But Stuart McFadden, well, that was pretty much how you do it. Pole position by half a second. And he's going to take race one of the evening here at Imola by 7 seconds. Absolutely dominance from Stuart McFadden. Nick Madsen's just about going to hang on, is he? Against Chris Danes, yes. Although it was very close at the line. Teddy Clark, great defense from him. And he's going to beat Adam McNally to the line. It's so close between these guys, as it has been for the entire
oh,
race.
sideways
Danny
vote
Henny,
fares.
yeah, Danny Henny's going to hang on against Michael Blake with Jamie Ayres. Well, he had a very action-packed race after a slowdown and just couldn't quite make those overtakes in the end. And off the circuit is Lee Deemer, losing a position to Michael Hall in those closing stages. Hall up 10 places, gaining more places than anyone else out on the field. He will finish 16th with Deemer in the end in 17th place with just, yeah, Kip Stevens and Scott Malcolm sort of finish the race.
Yep, I think Malcolm's just going to beat Stevens to the line, and yeah, he does indeed.
Of course, Ronald Moons we saw have an incident earlier on. Is he a lap down, Moons. No, he's not. He was on the lead lap, to be fair. And he's not going to quite get Lee Woodburn. Of course, it was just a spin for Ronald Moons, but yeah, ends up in 26th place. Will be eligible, though, for the reverse grid. So, the results of that race 1 of the evening, Stuart McLaren takes away the race victory. In the end, 7 seconds clear of Nick Matson. Was pushed really hard, but at the end by Chris Daines. I don't know if Matson relaxed a little bit in those clearing stages, but the gap came down significantly. Taylor Clark, great defensive performance in 4th, with Adam McNally in 5th. Then it was Chris Wood. A mistake cost him a top 4 finish in the end. Emil Anderson, didn't talk about him whatsoever, really, but 12th to 7th. Well done to him, with Danny Henney up 8 places to 8th. Then it's Michael Blake and Jamie Ayres rounding out the top 10. Behind that, it was Miguel Freitas, Prince Kern. Remember, he was fighting for 4th place at one point. Ray Cullinan, Dennis Melcher, Jim Flanagan, Michael Hall, Lee Deemer, Anthony Jacobson, Richard Haynes, and Scott Malcolm rounding out the top 20. Then behind that, it was Kip Stevens, Max Wright, Steve Heppard, Tristan Bollis, Lee Woodburn, and Ronald Moons rounding out the drivers on the lead lap. And last of the drivers eligible for the reverse grid, because Craig McLeod, Evans, and Sam Kume collided with one another. They ended up 9 laps down and will not be eligible for that reverse grid. And Margot, it is time for the reverse grid.
It is, and what an amazing first race. The wheel should be on your screens right now, hopefully. Yes, here we go, so let's roll it. It's going to be 15, so a smaller grid than expected.
Yes, that means that Jim Flanagan will be on pole position. So he deserves it. Started 22nd in that race, moved his way up into the top 15, so well done to him. Dennis Melcher will start in 2nd, and Vince Kern, watch out for him. He starts in 4th place for that race. Also, Jamie Ayres up in 6th position. So a couple of drivers out of position, and a couple of very competitive drivers potentially, who could maybe fight for that race victory. Do not miss it. We'll be back with you in about 20 minutes' time for race 2 of the evening. Welcome back to the BSR Simmortal Porsche Cup here live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Ryan Walker with Marco Barbner on the cameras. And we just saw a really good race one there, Ryan. We saw Stuart McFadden dominating. I was going to hesitate saying that, but full credit to him. He really drove away from the rest of the field. But in this one, starting from 15th place, certainly not going to be that easy once again.
Yeah, Stuart drove an absolute cracking race in race one. He just kept out of trouble and drove a sensible race, and didn't make any mistakes and managed to bring home the win in race one.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for him to back it up. With Jim Flanagan on pole position, Dennis Melcher alongside him on the front row. Rafe Cullen starts in third with Prince Kern. He is certainly one to watch out for, starting in fourth with Freitas in fifth, and the rest of the field will go through for you now. Also, Chris Wood starting from 10th. He could be dangerous. And Jamie Ayres starting from 6th. So certainly watch out for those drivers. A couple of drivers a little bit out of position from that first race. And of course, we had a 15-car reverse. Good for this second race. We will get another random reverse at the end of this one as well. We've just got a few more drivers to get onto the grid. Danny Henney and Kip Stevens as well. It's just Henney to get onto the grid. He's got 4 seconds to do so. And we did advance the session. I'm a little bit concerned that Danny's going to miss the grid. And I think he has, unfortunately. But it doesn't affect these other drivers because the lights are now on. And we are nearly away here for race 2 of the evening here at Imola. And away we go. Again, the pole sits are getting a really good start. Jim Flanagan. And he should be able to hold the lead. Almost a car into the wall straight away. Somehow managing to miss the wall. Maybe going down the inside, though, is Prince Kern already up 1 position. He's trying to make up another position here on Dennis Melcher. And he has gone through there, Kern. That's a really important move already from the second row up into second place now. With Cullen having to defend against Miguel Freitas currently. They are in 4th and 5th, and almost a little bit of contact between the pair there. Also very close behind is Jamie Ayres and Michael Blake. Those two drivers failing to make any moves up in these early stages as they now go side by side once again.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good start by Ferenc Kern. He managed to get around Dennis Melcher in turn 1, and yeah, he's up into second place and slowly closing on Flanagan. Just looking through the field to see if there's any issues or any trouble at the moment. It seems so far anyway on lap 1, everyone's managed to keep it together and keep out of trouble.
Just a little bit of contact in the background there, but you're always going to get into such a slow corner. You can see how Prince Kern already up onto the back of Jim Flanagan. 1, he knows that he wants to make that move nice and quickly. He may as well. And 2, there's a couple of fast drives near behind. One of them is Adam McNally. He's only up 1 position so far. He's been passed by Chris Danes already. He's up 4 places, the big gainer out to the drivers in the top 10. But as we round to complete lap 1, race 2, it is still Jim Flanagan leading the way for Team Mad, Apex Racing UK. UK's Prince Kern really close on the tail though. Flanagan trying to defend as much as he possibly can as they head going into turn 1. Kern is going to go to the outside though, and will he be able to muscle his way around the outside? We saw so few overtakes in race 1, especially down into this turn 1, and there's almost a little bit of contact. A big lock-up for Jim Flanagan, but he holds on for now, and there's contact there between Rafe Cullinan, I think, and Miguel Freitas, and there's a big contact as well, and there's a couple more drivers involved, and this could be even worse as well. We saw a big pile-up in the the World GT a few days ago, and seeing something very similar right there.
Yeah, that all kicked off. That all kicked off with two cars going off in the gravel, and yeah, fortunately a car spun in the gravel and clipped another car. It was all kicking off so much, I never had a chance to catch who it was that was involved. But yeah, massive pile up in turn one.
Kern has nearly got the move done now on Adam McNally. So not Adam
No,
McNally, Jim Flanagan, apologies, but Flanagan has held on superbly there. And now all of a sudden, Dennis Melcher getting back involved in this one for Team Mad. If they possibly can, they'll be trying to deny Prince Kern, I think, his first race victory in this series. A little bit wide, though, there for Jim Flanagan. And once again, Kern is going to be really close, heading down the hill. He can
Kieran's got
make
the
an
run.
overtake a few places around this circuit, but none of them are particularly easy. Here he goes, down the inside potentially. Down the hill goes Ferenc Kern, but a big defender
Oh,
and almost off the track. And through past the pair of them is Dennis Melcher. He's taken the race lead out of absolutely nowhere. A mistake from the two leaders. And yeah, Melcher up into the lead.
yeah, Melcher was just hanging back there, I think, and yeah, just look at the replay. It looks like Kieran got a run, and then Kieran tried to go up the inside. Flanagan ended up trying to defend, locked up, and I think Kieran was just distracted a little bit and just ran wide. And yeah, Dennis was there to pick up the pieces and move into the lead.
Absolutely superb. And also Michael Blake. I did say that Blake hadn't gained any positions on lap one. He's gained 4 positions. He was the big gainer from that big pileup. I think he just waltzed through the middle of it all and is now up into 3rd place. He could definitely win this one as down the
Kieran going
inside
for the
goes
move.
Prince Kern, and that's an awesome move into the hairpin. Well done to Prince Kern. He's got the race lead now. 3/10 clear of Dennis Melcher. He flashes his lights a little bit in retaliation, but it's not going to help him. Prince Kern, well, Team Mad have thrown everything at him, but he's still got this race lead now.
Yeah, absolutely. That was it. That was an awesome lap or awesome drive. Awesome drive so far on that lap from Kern to get back up to Dennis and retake to take the lead. And I don't think Dennis was happy with the move because he was flashing his lights on the exit of the corner. But yeah, in my mind, it was a fair move by Kern to take the lead.
Yeah, certainly from what we saw of it, it was, yeah, as clean as it gets. Very interesting battle, though, going on down the field. Almost a little bit of contact in the background there. Sam Pumo, yeah, trying to make his way past Max Wright. He's just been overtaken by Lee Deaver, but a massive hack from, from Michael Hall. He's up 10 places. Well done, Michael Hall. Really well for AM Fabrications. He hasn't got great pace up there. He's ahead of Stuart McFadden currently, though. Those two are 6th and 7th, and then yeah, then this is going on just behind them. That long old queue of cars. I wonder if we'll see the return of McFlashing down into turn 1. But at the moment, he is not here. Michael Hall defending well, and for now, McFadden is still just behind.
Yeah, McFadden. I was about to say McFadden.
Wow.
Oh God, I'm going to hell. Yeah, I was about to say McFadden is putting Hall under huge amounts of pressure as, yeah, McFadden's going for the move.
Very nice work there from Stuart McFadden. Almost trying to come back there is Michael Hall, but not quite. We also saw a little bit of action just behind Jamie Ayres, Chris Staines, and Evans as well. Evans is down the inside, is he? And has made that move on Jamie Ayres, who has not had a superb race so far. Down 4 positions, one of the fastest drivers in the series.
That was dangerous, was it not?
Yes, so, yeah. Evans is next.
Anyway, yeah, back to the accident. Yeah, it was just, yeah, that was a good move by Danes to pass Ayres, and yeah, right behind Jamie Ayres is my fellow Scot Craig Evans.
Up 16 places. Jamie Ayres is absolutely all over the place, isn't he? But yeah, Craig Evans, I don't think we've seen too much of him so far this season. I might be... No, we did see Evans, so yeah, we did see Evans in the last round, I think. But didn't make too much of an impact, but a superb race 2 today. This, of course, round 4 of the championship. Already, Kerner's got a nice gap. He's 1.7 seconds ahead of Dennis Melcher, who's only just ahead of Michael Blake. And maybe if Blake can get this move done, he might be able to chase down the race leader. been very impressed so far this season as Michael Blake, but yeah, still a race win eludes him, I think.
Yep. Yeah, I think Craig Evans, he's not raced in this series so far this season, but he has raced in the Mazda MX-5s. He's raced in the Mazda MX-5s a few times, and also in the BSRTC series, I believe.
Yeah, certainly knew that I'd seen him around. They may have been in the MX-5s, yeah, which I did a couple of weeks ago, but he has just lost a couple of positions. He's back down into P14. He's lost a couple of positions right there. Emil Anderson under big pressure currently from Chris Danes. Anderson with a good run so far and actually had a good race one as well. So it'd be a good points haul for the driver. He could maybe still qualify for the showdown, but down the inside there
Dane's
goes
going for the
Chris
move.
Danes. And that's a
Whoa,
really
two
nice move, but
wheel.
he hasn't pulled it off. Too much curve, and actually very slow there. Maybe getting a bit of a slowdown into the number 12 car, Michael Hall. But for now, Hall just hang on through the chicane. It's so narrow through there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure what happened to Hall. Yeah, he might have got a slow down, but yeah, freeway battle for at the moment between these guys. I think Anderson will need to watch he'll need to watch in front of him, but also he'll need to watch behind him just to keep an eye on Danes as Danes goes up for
Ooh.
the move.
Yeah, keeping an eye on Danes might be a good
Oh,
idea. And into the wall just behind is Jamie Ayres. Well, it has not been a good race so far for Jamie Ayres. Hasn't been a good day so far for Jamie Ayres. And that pretty much rounds it off. Hopefully we'll see him back for race 3. He'll be hoping for a larger first grid once he's eligible for it. Chris Danes is looking for me in absolutely every single corner. Hasn't made the move yet, but here comes a move from Michael Blake. These three still losing each other time. They're 3.3 seconds off the lead now. And Michael Blake has still not made that move. Jim Flanagan and Nick Madsen. We haven't talked about Madsen so far. Up 9 places from his start. He could be in with a chance of second place.
Yeah, absolutely. Madsen is right behind these guys, and if these guys get caught, we saw he could be there to pounce and pick up the pieces, and maybe just move up into P3. As I'm just looking back up at the front as well, and Kern is absolutely just bolted away and managed to build up a huge lead, and basically at the moment it left everyone behind for dust.
Yeah, he's absolutely dominant out in the lead. Surprisingly, he was 9/10 of a second slower than Stuart McFadden on that last lap. That's the pace of McFadden,
Whoa.
and he's actually going to be closing in on these guys right now. He's some 2 seconds a lap faster, and he's only 1.5 seconds off the back of this little pack. This pack of 4 drivers, Melcher, Blake, Flanagan, and Madsen. Soon going to be McFadden as well.
Yep, I think at the moment, out of this pack, it seems to be Melcher is holding these guys up at the moment. He seems to be the slower of these guys at the moment. So I think it's only a matter of time before Michael gets by Dennis. I think.
Yeah, he'll be hoping that sooner rather than later, though, because he's lost so much time already getting stuck behind Dennis Melcher. But you could see down the inside there is Blake, and well, that was very nearly contact between the two of them, completely out of control. Wasn't a deliberate move there, Ryan, and he did pretty well not to ram into the back of his rival in the end.
Yeah, that was so close to end up being contact between Melcher and Blake. I think Blake was maybe trying to brake a little bit later just to try and close up on Melcher under braking, but yeah, just carried too much
Oh,
speed.
round it's Madsen. No, it's not. It's Flanagan. It's second off of the race.
I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe we could get a replay to see what happened to Flanagan.
Oh, McFadden's going to go on the move around the outside of Nick Madsen. Madsen's not going to give this one up. These two, the top 2 in race 1, and Madsen's hold on for now. Stuart McFadden did look for a move earlier on round here, but he hasn't been able to make it quite yet. Well, that was great defense there from Madsen, trying to hang on with all his might. And down the inside goes Stuart McFadden. This is not an over. He wanted it to be, though.
Yeah, Stuart's. I think Stuart's getting fired, or Stuart is fired up after that little push off track by Madsen. So yeah, I think Stuart's trying everything to try and get by. He's looking up the inside. Oh,
Contact between the two. Well, McFadden,
McFadden's got a run.
looks to the inside. Is there going to be contact with the wall? Madsen just about gives him space. He's got a little
Oh,
bit of damage there as Madsen is going to be a little bit more damage now as they bash doors down the straight. And it's so much damage for Madsen, in fact, that McFadden is able to move up
Madsen's
into the
going for
top
the
4.
move.
But Madsen's coming back. He's not giving up. And
Oh,
he's
what a
down the
move.
inside into turn 1. As long as he doesn't get a slowdown, that's going to be a great move. But back
Oh,
comes McFadden, a little bit of break from Madsen just so they can make the corner after going in so shallow. And McFadden will go around the outside into the Villeneuve chicane. Inside for the next one. It'll
oh,
be inside for Madsen next time, but he's off the circuit. And McFadden can finally establish that 4th place.
oh, it's the 2 cars off at turn 1. So I'm not sure what happened there. One of them's Cullinan, and the other car was a Team Mad car. As back up the front, Melcher and Blake are still going at it for 2nd place, and yeah, it looks like Dennis is definitely holding up Michael Blake, and I think it's only a matter of time again before Blake gets by Melcher.
Yeah, but he's been sitting behind him for the past, at least 5 laps. Hasn't got too many more to survive. And
Oh,
Blake, he was really late on the brakes again there. But in this car, you only apply about 60% brake pressure because the brakes are so sketchy. It's
Blake's
so
got to run.
difficult to hang on to them as they go down the hill once again. He's on the inside, and this might just be the better line for him. It wasn't
Go
though.
on,
You
Mikey, do
see
the
McFadden
cutback, do the cutback.
already onto the back of them. There's going to be maybe contact between the 2 of them going around the final corner. And here comes
McFadden's right
McFadden.
behind them.
He's going to be right behind now. He's going to surely make this one 3 wide as well. Team
Oh,
Hats,
don't
Immortal,
do it, guys.
CQR heading across the start finish line here at Imola. And for now, Melcher just about with his car ahead. McFadden not being able to get involved just now. And now down the inside goes Michael Blake.
Oh,
Can he
Blake,
get the car
Blake locks
stopped
up
though?
into
And
turn
off
1.
the circuit is Dennis Melcher. And he's going to lose a couple of positions here because that's going to be a slowdown. And I think he's going to lose a position to Nick Madsen as Madsen goes to the inside for Villeneuve. Has he made that one? Yes, he has. So he's up into P4, and now McFadden can go and try to pass Michael Blake.
Yeah, oh, McFadden goes for the move.
Oh, a little bit of contact between the pair of them, and McFadden's made it up into P2 now.
Yeah, that was a good optimistic. Well, I'll say that again. Yeah, that was a good move by McFadden, and yeah, managed to make it stick, and yeah, managed to get up the inside, make the move, and he's up into P2.
Yeah, he is 9.5 seconds off the lead, though. Trent Kern a long way out ahead, but that is a great drive from Stuart McFadden. First in the opening race of the evening, and now he's going to get second in this one. Nick Madsen's going to be next to potentially on Michael Blake. Of course, got a lot of damage on that car seemingly as Madsen, which isn't going to help him down the straights. And he kind of needs all the help he can possibly get down the straights, does the 14 cut. But Dennis Melcher still very much in touch.
Yep, I think. I think Madsen might get a run on Blake down this home straight there because Blake had a little bit of a poor exit on the final corner.
It's only 0.4%. In fact, he's losing time down this straight. It was about 0.4 coming onto the straight. It reached about 0.6 by the end of it. Chris Wood, he's round. Well, he was one of my picks for this race, starting in P10, which was ambitious. But after a mistake in the first race, which cost him a couple of positions, I've seen another one here, and he was desperate not to run into
Oh, he
the back
just
of his
lost it under
opponent.
braking.
Yeah, just a little bit too much power on the brakes.
Yeah, it might have been maybe just too much brake pressure or too much pressure on the brake. So yeah, I know how fragile these cars can be if you slam the brake too hard, it just makes the rear end look round.
Yeah, I've seen that plenty of times today, and so far this series in particular. Michael Blake just about hanging on against Nick Madsen. 0.2 between each other. I don't really have to say it's nose to tail, but Madsen, oh, and he's all over the place,
Blake gets
and
sideways.
that's going to be the podium. Waved goodbye. Nick Madsen up 11 places now. And, well, he's starting the flashing a little bit on McFadden, but I doubt he's going to be able to pressurize him in these final, lap and a bit. Haven't got long to go. And here was a big
contact in
accident.
turn 1.
Yeah, it was.
That was
So this was earlier on then, was it? No. Yes, it was. It was earlier on. This was the incident for Cullen. I thought it happened again.
yeah, yeah. It looks like oh, it was just contact on the braking with Cullinan and Hefford, and a team mad car involved as well. Who was that? Was that Chris Wood?
Would have
As
been
a
surprised with how Wood's day's gone so far.
we're on the final lap as well as
Oh, there
Blake
goes
is.
Blake, and he's gone through past
Whoa!
Madsen. Contact between the two of them, and Madsen might
Oh,
just be able to
Blake
make the move
sideways
again.
again.
Blake is all over the place, and has he dipped a wheel onto the grass? Thankfully, he didn't. Otherwise, that would have been curtains. Shows how poor straight line speed Madsen has got. Here's Michael Hall still having a really good run in ninth place. He's just been overtaken by Ronald Moons. You saw Moons have an issue in the first race. He's up 18 places from his start. One of the drivers of this race. He's up into the top 8 now.
Yeah, he's having a good run so far, and yeah, Ronald's just he's as oh, who's that off in the background doing rallycross? That is Max Wright, I believe.
Yeah, it was. And also Chris Staines involved in this one. And he's had a difficult one as Chris Danes because he ought to be further up. I think he's had a couple of incidents, unfortunately, for Danes. Otherwise, he'd be fighting for the podium positions, I think, at this point. And he's really flashing. I can't even make a pun out of his name for his lights, but I'll think of one.
There's oh contact.
Oh, more contacts and
Oh,
a lot more
spun.
contacts.
Oh,
Oh, nearly
oh.
more contacts as well. But
As
here comes Prince Kern. This is his final lap, and it's been a waltz in the park. Apart from a little bit of an incident earlier on, he's been absolutely sublime, and he's going to win this race by nearly 8 seconds over the rest of the field. Fantastic drive from the Apex Racing UK drive. Now, can Blake get Madsen on the line? Madsen's straight line speed is very poor. It's not going to be enough, though, for Blake to come back. P3 and P4, they may well have words between the pair of them later on. Also, Craig Evans, he's currently in 11th position, putting some pressure on Jim Flanagan. Wouldn't be a bad result for Jim, considering even though he started on pole
oh contact
position
behind.
and more contact behind as well. Who was that just leading out? Wasn't Sam Kuma, was it? It was Danny Henney. Kuma might get Stevens though on the line. He didn't though. Stevens just about hung on by 3/100ths of a second.
Yeah, I have to say that the race was chaotic. Let's put it that way. But apart from that, that was a good race to commentate on, and that was a good drive by Kern to take the win in race two. And just after that mistake, or mistake, he got caught up with Michael Blake. He managed to just get his head down, pull away, and just build up a big enough gap to not have any trouble behind and take the win in race two.
Yeah, that was a sublime performance from Prince Kern. Well done to him out there. And just completing that form of that in lap as well. Of course, should also be very complimentary of Stuart McFadden. 13 places. After not a great start either. Had to make his way up through the field. Just had to pick off the drivers one by one. And in the end, he did it comfortably, getting a podium result, along with Nick Madsen as well. He didn't start too high up himself either. But the final results, Vince Kern winning that race with Stuart McFadden second, Nick Madsen third. Michael Blake, Sterling, well, maybe if he got that move done earlier on Dennis Melcher, maybe he would have been able to hang on to that second place. But still, solid fourth. Dennis Melcher, Sterling, defensive performance from him in fifth. Emil Anderson, once again, we didn't talk about him much. Under the radar, great result, sixth. Well done. Lee Deemer finishes in seventh. That's a really good result for Lee, actually, with Ronald Moons 26th to 8th. Max Wright went from 22nd to 9th, with Jim Flanagan, the pole sitter, finishing in 10th. Behind that, it was Craig McLeod Evans, Michael Hall, Steve Hefford, Jamie Ayres, Kip Stevens, Sam Kume, Danny Henney, Chris Wood, Rick Cullen, Scott Malcolm, Chris Danes rounding out the top 21. Behind that, it was Anthony Jacobson, Lee Woodburn, Tristan Boddes, the last eligible drive for the reverse grid. Kelly Clark was 2 laps down with Freitas, McNally, and Haynes rounding out the field. And Mark, it's the second reverse grid of the day.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Time for the reverse. What a fantastic race. I think this is quickly becoming one of the best series we broadcast. The racing is fantastic, hard but fair all over the field. I'm having a lot of fun. Let's see what the reverse wheel says for race 3. Let's roll it. It's going to be 30-3-0.
Right, so it's a full reverse. Tristan Bodice was the last eligible driver, so he will be on pole position for the final race of the evening. Also up there, Lee Woodburn, Ashley Jigson, also Chris Daines. Must have had an issue right at the end there because, yeah, Daines was further up, I believe. Yeah, he must have had an issue on that last lap, actually, Chris Daines. Well, it's worked out well for him in terms of a race 3 start. He will be starting in 4th place for that one. Do not miss it. We'll be back with you in about 20 minutes' time. That was a fantastic race 2. Race 3 coming up for you.
I can't stop.
Welcome back to the BSR Simmortal Porsche Cup. Sorry about the wait. iRacing decided to do like an update or something. I don't even know. Don't know what that was about. But we are back. Some of us had a more productive break than others, but for this race, we will have Tristan Bottas on pole position with Lee Woodburn alongside him on the front row. Nancy Jacobson starts third. Chris Daines, watch out for him in fourth, and Rafe Cullen once again starting near the front of the field in fifth place. Anyone that catches your eye in this one, Ryan, who you think is going to have a good race now?
I think at the moment, judging by his form, it could be Stuart McFadden.
We will wait and see. Nancy Jacobson unfortunately couldn't take the start, but we are nearly away here. Tristan Bottas from the pole position. Race 3 of the evening. And once again, the pole sitter gets a very nice start. Lee Woodburn still in second place, but he's going to be under pressure here from Chris Daines, who straight away is down the inside, and he might just be able to make that move. Almost contact, and Daines is almost round. He's hung onto it though. Big contact with the curves again though. It's all chaos behind the race leader. A couple of cars off the circuit. There's somehow not a big pile-up. There so nearly was. A car very slow on the inside. That's Tristan Bottas, is it? Oh dear. The pole sitter, the race leader, and he's right to the rear of the field. Sam Kumo already across the track. And that's going to be a big slowdown for him, unfortunately. But Chris Daines, despite making big contact in that first chicane, takes the race lead.
Yeah, absolutely. That was mayhem in turn one, and it just looks like it all kicked off with Tristan Bottas just outbraking himself in turn one and just sliding wide a little bit, and yeah, behind him a concertina effect started.
Yeah, it was going on all the way down the field, wasn't it? But it does mean that Christian's up 3 positions from his race start. Chris Wood is up 4 positions, so quite incredible. Oh, big contacts here. McFadden around Ryan's pick for this race. And despite him falling to the rear of the field, you would not count him out of even a podium out there. But he's going to have a long way to go. And Chris Daines from the race lead has binned it. Coming out of the chicane, I cannot believe it. Chris Daines. Michael Blake as well round all the front runners having their issues. It means that Rafe Cullinan at the conclusion of this opening lap of the race is the race lead, and here it was from Chris Daines. I don't know if this was a hardware failure because he didn't hit a wall or anything. Yeah, he's just made a mistake, but I think he's escaped back to the pits, hasn't
he? Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. He just his car disappeared, and then he was spun on the exit of the chicane. So I don't know if he's.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying, that's fine. I was just saying, I don't know if he had a screen freeze or something like that. As this car spun, it's turn one.
Oh, big contact as well. Tristan Bottas, the race. And yeah, he's that as well. Is that Jim Flanagan? Jim Flanagan's round.
Tristan Bottas involved and Flanagan involved. So yeah, contact between the two teammates.
So, what a start to this race. Rafe Cullinan leads from 5th on the grid. Quite incredible for Rafe Cullinan. But Steve Heppard started in 11th position. He's up into the top 2 already. Chris Wood very much there. This is a great chance for Wood to get his 2nd consecutive race 3 victory. Jamie Ayres is in 4th with Danny Henney. He's had a really impressive performance today, particularly race 1, Danny. And Nick Madsen and Stuart McFadden up 14 places each. McFadden was like half spun at one point in that first lap. He's gained 14 positions and he could still win this race. And very slow as Steve Heppard from 2nd position. He's dropped down to 5th.
Yeah, it's all kicking off in the early stages of this race. I'm not sure what happened. It's just yeah, as you say, McFadden was sideways about half a lap ago, and he's managed to just get his head down and get his head into gear, and he's up into P7 at the moment and gained 14 places. So yeah, good drive so far by Stuart, and yeah, just looking back up at the front as well, I think we could be on for a battle for the race 3-1 as it stands.
Because Michael Blake is up a few positions despite spinning himself on that opening lap. Quite incredible. Rafe Cullinan leads though, and we've seen plenty of misjudged braking zones down to turn 1. Unfortunately, this time there is no such issues. Chris Wood, what a chance this is for him to win the race. And there's a car off in the background. It's Danny Henney, and we've seen another driver in the top 5 dropping out of the running and almost contact with the 14 car of Nick Madsen, who was just going past there. So Madsen moves up into 5th, Penny in 6th. Cullinan, though, having to go defensive against Chris Wood, and they make contact into the hairpin. Just about defending out the moment is Cullinan, but here comes Jamie Ayres, who's had a horrible day so far. He could still salvage a win out of it somehow. But Big Cullinan is struggling out there. He's not as quick as these drivers, but for now, he's hanging on to the race win.
Yeah, absolutely. Cullinan's not letting these guys go easy, and yeah, just looking now, McFadden's up into P6 now, and slowly, if he keeps going the way he's going at the moment, he'll be up at the front with these other guys in no time.
Yeah, him and Madsen are going to be onto this front pack within the next few laps, because whilst they're fighting amongst each other so much, they're losing each other a lot of time. I don't really have to explain that. But Big Cullinan, to give credit to him, that last lap was in the 44s, which is pretty competitive, considering that I've only seen him set 45 so far today. So he's really delivering his best, and it would be great to see him get a race victory. Almost a little bit of contact just behind. I thought Jamie Ayres was going to be under pressure from Steve Hefford. And Hefford's nearly round again.
Whoa.
0.3 of a second splits the top two, though, coming across the line. And Cullinan, if anything, seems to lose a little bit of time down these straights, because it's only 0.2 of a second now. Heading on to lap 4 of this race. 35 minutes, remember. It's a long one, this. A pit stop for these guys. We've got a lot of action still to come, but this first 3 laps of the race have certainly filled us up already. Chris Wood not quite finding a way through. Cullinan defending in the middle of the circuit. And yeah, I repeat again, he's still holding on to the lead.
Wood's got sideways there on the exit of the corner, and yeah, he's trying everything to try and get by Cullinan at the moment, and I think he's quicker than Cullinan, but Cullinan's doing an absolutely awesome job of defending at the moment.
Well, we have nearly got the top 6. We might have like a top 9 battle out of this at some point. It really depends how long Cullinan can hold off these drivers, but certainly the top 5 all together now.
Yep, if the top 4 if these top 4 guys keep holding each other up, Madsen and McFadden will be closing up on them in no time. Actually, I take that back. They're right behind them.
Yeah, Madsen's already onto the back then. McFadden almost there as well.
Woods has got to run.
Cullinan is going to have to go defensive here. It's a narrow circuit, remember. And Woods got to be so careful not to run into the back of his rival. He knows that a race win's very possible here.
Oh, Cullinan wide.
A little bit wide for Cullinan there. Going on to the pit straight once again. A little bit of an issue just behind for Steve Hefford again. And he's going to lose a position to Stuart McFadden as well. But really close amongst the top 2. Ayres not getting involved in this one just yet. But Cullinan, can he defend this time? Wood will go to the outside, going into turn 1. He's going to try to outbrake him. That's the only way, really, against a defending opponent, to muscle your way around the outside through that chicane. Still really close. So can he just find the inside line into Villeneuve? He looks to the inside, but he's not willing to... he hasn't got the momentum to pull alongside. And now, yeah, this is a proper 6-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking in the YouTube chat. I think it's Chris Danes in the YouTube chat possibly saying that he had damage and he just couldn't. He had no control, so he had to call it a day. Very
disappointing for Chris Danes. This car can be a little bit susceptible to suspension damage. And down the inside is Nick Madsen on Jamie Ayres. Almost side by side between these two. He's going to hang on though. Here comes McFlashing though. Right onto the back of these guys. He's back. He wasn't gone for too long. And he's, running in 5th place now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I was Stuart at this point, I would maybe just hang back a little bit and see if these guys get caught up. But if Madsen's holding them, McFadden's got a run on Madsen.
This is so important because these two are the fastest two drivers out on the circuit. McFadden looking to the inside. There wasn't a space there. And almost side by side for the race lead as well. Just about Cullinan holding on for now. Madsen gets a little bit of a contact from McFadden. And he's right on his tail. It's difficult to put where your eyes are. Remember, there's, 25 other drivers out there. But this is the only battle that really matters right now. It's so
Which has got a run in
Cullinan once again. A little bit slide down the pit straight. Wood to the outside. Can he have the confidence on the brakes this time? He's going to try to do it, Chris Wood. No, he's not. Cullen's almost wide though. And there's
Oh,
a spinner in the
Junior spun.
background. And they're all round.
Oh, they're all round.
McLaren's round. Madsen's
Oh,
round. Oh, and big
oh,
contact
contact.
with Madsen. And that might
Oh,
be his
Adam
day over.
McNally. Yeah, I think Madsen tried to rejoin and he collected Adam McNally. Let's see a replay of that.
Was Wood losing it
Oh,
in the
Wood's got
first
sideways.
race? Oh, and he's lost it again, did Chris Wood? I didn't even see that. And then Madsen, well, he thought he could get away. He
Oh,
thought the other drivers would go the other way, I think. But
oh,
they went.
Madsen, that was a pathetic rejoin by Madsen. Use your brain, son.
Yeah, he should have really stayed put instead of trying to get off the circuit. And it's cost Nick Madsen. He's got a lot of damage on that car now. And he'll probably go into the pits maybe on this lap if he can get to the end on a single pit stop. And Adam McNally, I think, maybe getting the tow back to the pits.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for Adam. I think he was just for me anyway, he was just the innocent party in that incident, and that was just a clumsy, just a clumsy rejoin by Nick Madsen, and should have engaged his brain before rejoining. But as the saying goes, you can't teach stupid.
Prince Kern up 15 positions now, up into the top 7. Quite a train of cars here, but yeah, Kern, he might be in line for another podium after winning race 2. Having a great job from 22nd on the grid. Already into the pits then is Chris Wood, who has had plenty of issues himself after making contact earlier on in that lap. And he's into the pits trying to do something a little bit different.
Yep. Yeah, just talking about Kern, he's having a good run so far, and he's managing to hold the likes of Jamie Ayres, Max Wright, Kip Stevens, Michael Blake behind him, and he's having a good run so far. And as you say, they don't rule him out of a podium position possibly.
All spread out now all of a sudden between the top 7 drivers. There's, yeah, no one's really within a second of one another. Soon, I'm sure that will change because Kern is on quite a run. And also, of course, out in the lead, Cullinan somehow still leading this race. He's 2 seconds ahead of Stuart McFadden, who's going to be closing in on him at probably a second a lap. So that's not going to last too long. Steve Hefford, well, how is he still in 3rd position? He's had, what, a spin and 2 slowdowns, I think? There's McFlashing. Danny Penny still running in 4th. Again, he's had his own troubles, still running high. Lee Deemer, well done to him. Had a very good race 2 as well, actually, having an excellent race 3 as well.
Madsen, stop.
And, well, I don't know if that's another issue for him or maybe that damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He seems. I can't be fuel. It can't be fuel possible. No way it could be fuel. Yeah, just looking at the replay to see what happened.
I think he might have just decided to pull out of this race, maybe.
Oh, he just pulls to the right.
Yeah, that might be his day over, unfortunately. We'll see what Nick does here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It just.
Can't be fuel, as Ryan said, because it's fixed setup in this series. So you can't adjust the fuel. And yeah, Nick with quite a few issues there.
Not sure why he stopped on track. I mean, if he was stopping, if he had to pull over, he could have just done it on the grass because it's a bit risky stopping on the inch of the chicane.
Really close between these top 2, though. Brave Carnan leading the way still, 0.3 of a second ahead of Stuart McFadden. The gap has, yep, shrunk to pretty much nothing now. Flashing, going about his ways. And they are just coming up on Madsen here.
Yeah, he's got a run.
Oh, Nick.
Whoa, come on, Nick, get off the racing line.
Oh, he might go to the inside. Here is McFadden. Cullinan holding on, though. You cannot go around the outside to that chicane. And Cullinan just about hanging on for now.
So Madsen's speeded up again, so he might be unhappy with someone. No, don't do it, Nick.
Oh, that's not good, Nick. Not good
What was
whatsoever.
that?
And he's taken out Stuart McFadden. And
That is
McFadden
just,
is going to be out of this race, unfortunately.
yeah, that was this. I had a feeling that Nick was going to do something like that, and I'm sorry I have to swear in the broadcast, but after Nick done that, that was just pathetic driving of an arsehole.
Yeah, so it was not good whatsoever from Nick. Clearly, the anger getting the better of him there. And yes, hopefully, well, I say we might see him back next week, but I feel like we won't. But we should get back to the race. It does mean that Raikkonen, after all of that, Strip McFadden, well, he was going to get maybe a 2 first and a second out of that one, but it doesn't seem like he is anymore. Raikkonen 4.5 seconds out in the lead. It does mean that Steve Hefford is now up into second position. Danny Henny in third place and Michael Hall fourth. Brent Kern, you know what? Well, he's how far is he off the lead? He's 10 seconds off the lead. He's going to give himself a chance of maybe a double victory today.
Yeah, absolutely. He's having a good run so far, Kieran. He's just kept out of trouble, and everyone else is just everyone else is slipping up or having issues or being taken out, as we see with McFadden and the Madsen. But yeah, Kieran's having a good run at the moment, and we were saying at one point he could be in contention for a podium for us. But I put my money now on it, possibly on for a win.
Well, he's got to dispatch Michael Hall first, who's also had a really good race out there. Particularly race one, I think Michael Hall was extremely strong. Defended very well, and he'll want to defend that fourth place. It was kind of difficult to keep track of what's happened to each of these drivers. It was such a chaotic start to this race, and so much has happened since. We're not even, halfway into this race yet, and yet a lot has happened so far. Sam Kumo going on the move on Model
Going
Moons.
for the
Model
move
Moons
on
had a
moons.
superb race two, but Kumo far too strong. And well,
Michael Hall in the
if he
pits.
could get one good race, and yeah, Michael Hall now into the pits.
Yep, that was a nice move by Sam Kumlo. He went up the inside, but he didn't do anything too silly. He just slowed it down just in time for the corner and managed to pull the move off. And just reading the YouTube chat as well, Stuart McFadden is not a happy bunny, and he just said talk about spitting the dummy. So yeah, I can see the hammer coming in on Nick Madsen, because that was just outrageous. Also, as yeah, just mentioning as well, he's a championship leader. So that was a very very stupid thing to do, and not normally I swear on the broadcast. So anyone that's offended, I apologise, but that was just pathetic.
Yeah, absolutely. No excuse for driving like that whatsoever. Uh, yeah, will be interesting to see what the stewards do about that. I don't know what the official line on that is. But yes, Kip Stevens, well, yeah, he's running in P6 at the moment. Again, it's impossible to keep up with what's going on in this race. But Stevens probably having one of his best races of the season so far in 6th place. Just ahead of Max Wright, who's actually showing really good pace today. And really close onto the back of him now. Maybe able to go for a move, maybe into a bat. So is he just going to line it
Oh,
up maybe for the pit straight?
yeah, he's I think if he can get a good exit on these final two corners and stay right behind Kip, he might be able to get a run on Kip on the home straight. As Max Wright dives into the pits.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what these drivers do in terms of fuel. They can certainly go a lot further than this. But yeah, already a few drivers come into the pits quite early on. So just watching the gap now, because, well, it's difficult to tell who's in this lead battle, but certainly the top four have all got a good chance. And currently, Kern on that last lap was 7/10 faster than the race leader, and he is about 9 seconds behind. So, well, yeah, he should be able to catch by the end of this race. It's difficult to say right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just I'm looking through the field so far just to see if there's any other battles apart from this one, but I can't really find anything. The only battle I can see so far at the moment is a battle for P13 between Jay Beers and Lee Deemer.
yeah, these guys have already pitted, remember? So, well, they might be able to feature in the race later on. Maybe fight for a top 5. Certainly looking possible for these guys. Chris Wood also just ahead. Currently, the leaders of the drivers who have pitted apparently is Anthony Jacobson, but he pitted on the first lap, so I think that's just a glitch. Michael Hall, though, leading the way of the pitters. So it'll be interesting to see if these guys' strategy will work out later on. And you can see he's quite a bit ahead of Chris Wood. A really good performance so far from Michael Hall, and he's 48 seconds off the lead. Don't think he's going to be able to fight for the lead, but yeah, like I said earlier on, top 5 still looking possible for the AM Fabrications driver.
Indeed, yeah. I like. Ooh, Jamie Earl's got sideways on the exit of the chicane. Yeah, Michael Hall. I think he's in clear air at the moment, so he might be able to put some hot laps down and see if he can try and jump some people in front of him that pit and gain some positions.
So less than a quarter of an hour left in this round 4 of the championship here at Imola. I'm seeing plenty of good racing and a little bit of controversy as well, at least in this race 3 so far. But it's still hotting up to be a very entertaining finish. We saw a fantastic finish to race 3. Of course, if you want to check in on that, certainly go on to Apex Racing TV's Facebook page and give it a like as well. And I think this one is going to rival it in terms of intensity and in terms of drama, because the race lead is down to only 1.2 seconds, with these guys also, Danny Henney and Brent Kern, still potentially to play a part in who will take home this race 3 of the evening.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just thinking about it now. If he keeps going the way he's going at the moment, I wouldn't rule Steve Hefford out of winning this race. I mean, yeah, he's not had the best of evenings, but he's doing a good job. Say that again, good job so far in P2, and don't rule him out. As yeah, Dennis Meltzer has a sideways moment.
Yeah, I've seen that mistake at that corner plenty of times today. Clearly quite an issue. It's a little bit banked, that corner, but at the same time, it's just easy to turn in, and yeah, the rear end just overtakes the front, and that's yeah, kind of job done. It's very difficult to recover against that. Danny Henney's under big pressure from Brent Kern, and if Kern is going to win this race, he kind of has to get this one done nice and quickly. He's was over 10 seconds off the lead at one point. He can see them. You can see them on the broadcast. Only just ahead. The gap is down to 6 seconds now. But Danny Henney could be a thorn in his side, because the more time he loses here, the less likely it is that he's going to be able to take this race 3.
Yeah, Karen has to really try and get a move done as quickly as possible. I mean, he's not losing that much time, but he just if he wants to be in contention for the one, he has to get a move on and try and get by as Tristan Bodice is facing the wrong way towards the wall. But yeah, Karen has to get the move done as quickly as possible to catch up to the top 2.
I think Bodice has done the exact same thing as earlier on, as
Karen
Kern
makes a move.
goes through. And he's up into the top 3 now. Winner of race 2, started in 22nd position for this race 3.
Oh, top
And
2
here
in the
comes the
pits.
top 2 into the pits. And Rick Cullinan, Steve Hefford into the pits. Brent Kern will continue. Now, what does Danny Henney do here? Does he try to fight back against Kern, potentially lose themselves time? Or does he feel the need that he has to make this position if he's going to win this race, Danny Henney, as he goes to the outside into turn 1, but easily covering it off his Brent Kern. This is not helping their pace whatsoever, but Kern now has the opportunity to potentially overcut the 2 leading drivers.
Yeah, if I was Karen, I would possibly try and pit this lap and try and cover the top 2 at just pitted. I mean, yeah, Kern's pulling away from Henny now, but if I was Karen, I would maybe try pitting this lap and try and cover the top 2, as I say, and see if it works. But if it doesn't, it means when he comes back out, he won't be that far behind them if they go by.
I think he was first out of the pits there. It was Cullinan ahead of Hefford still. So that stays the same. Ayres trying to go for the move on Dima, but yeah, very early on the brakes there, going into turn 1. Just see where these guys mixed out. Actually, well, no, I say that. Steve Hefford and Michael Hall separated by 6.5 seconds. So I thought Hall may be a little bit closer, but that's just a reference to see where Michael Hall is. Well, just got to wait and see kind of until these pit stops are completed to really figure out where everyone is out on circuit. But now we question Prince Kern. He was about 5 seconds behind when the top 2 made their pit stops on the last lap. Will he be the next one to come into the
Oh, he's gone
pits?
for another lap.
No, he's gone for another one. Interesting tactics. Low fuel, of course, Ryan, at this stage of the race. And, well, this could work out. He really could pull off this overcut if he can deliver a couple of really handy laps.
Yeah, I think Kieran at the moment, he has to just put his foot down and get his head down and just try and pump out as many hot laps as possible. Just not make any mistakes. Just try and go as quick as possible and try and build up a little bit of a try and make that gap as big as possible. So when he comes out the pits, he might be able to come out just in front or just behind. As yeah, we see Lee Deemer having a bit of a twitchy moment in the chicane, and yeah, Jamie Ayres managed to get back by him. As
This is pretty much the race for the lead, isn't it? Cullinan versus Hefford, but at the same time, if they fight too much, this isn't going to be the race for the lead because Kern's going to be able to jump them. Plenty of dynamics in this race so far.
Yeah, I think if if these guys keep squabbling amongst each other, I think this is going to give Kern a chance to possibly jump them. I mean, Kern at the moment, he's pulling away from second place Henny, and he's slowly building up that gap to Henny, and also at the same time possibly making that gap bigger to Cullinan and Hefford.
You've raced against both of these drivers. How would you kind of assess their racecraft and do they have any kind of driving features to them?
I've not really raced Cullinan that much, but I've raced Steve Hefford quite a lot in the BSR MX5 series, and I would say Steve Hefford is. I wouldn't say he's overly aggressive. He's a hard racer, but he'll race you fair. Yeah, had a good race with him in the BSR MX5 series a couple of weeks back at Brands Hatch. Kern's in the pits.
So, this is the moment of truth then. They should stay ahead, should Cullinan and Hefford. They should just about get ahead by a couple of seconds. They had 7-second pit stops. Kern has had 7.98, so a couple of tenths longer. I don't think that's going to be the difference, but
Kern's
you
leaving
can
the
see them
pits.
just going down the pit lane. And yeah, these two are going to take back the race lead. Cullinan, followed by Hefford. Kern coming out of the pits, and you can see the gap they has to make up. It's a bigger gap than I thought it was going to be. Before the pit stops, it was about 5 seconds. It's still about 5 seconds. And you know what? Those couple of tenths they lost in the pit stop could be costly. Michael Hall is ahead of Michael Hall and Chris Wood, so ahead of Danny Henny. So Henny didn't do enough on those in laps, and he's actually lost out to a couple of drivers. But now, yeah, this is a proper straight fight to the end. Rick Connon, I was writing him off after the first couple of laps, saying that he wouldn't be able to hang on for another lap. But here we are, lap 16, and he has not given up this race lead. And he's only got 7 more minutes to hang on against Steve Hefford and, of course, the incoming Prince Kern.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Cullinan and Hefford have been doing an awesome job in this race so far. They've managed to get away from everyone else while everyone else has been having their issues and getting caught up with each other. And yeah, these guys have been just nose to tail for the most of this race so far. But I think if Kern, if he can get his head down and put some hot laps in and try and close the gap to these guys, I think it could be possibly a three-way fight for the win. But it's a big task.
Only a couple more drivers to come to the pits. One of them was Kip Stevens. He is now trundling down pit lane, and Roland Means is also into the pit. So yeah, Cullinan and Hefford are going to take back that race lead formally now. I'd also just say, Chris Wood on that last lap did a 44.05. That's one of the fastest laps of the race, some 2 seconds faster than these guys. So don't count out Chris Wood either. Maybe even Michael Hall could get involved in this race lead battle as well. Cullinan
Oh,
with
Cullinan
the
locks up.
lockup. And he's going to be under big pressure here. Those tyres will really be screaming at this point if he keeps on overheating them. And he could be under pressure here. Effort. He looks to the inside into the Villeneuve,
Oh,
but not quite there. Having to go defensive.
oh,
And
Hefford
there's a little bit
sideways.
of a wiggle in the end from Hefford. He nearly loses the car. Cullinan, defensive into the hairpin now. And you can see how Kern is closing in on these guys. It's
Yep.
still side by side. Muscling his way around the outside is Steve Hefford. And he's got a fantastic drive from that corner. And this could be the moment after 17 laps that Rick Cullinan relinquishes this race lead. He's not going to give it up though. He's late on the
Oh,
brakes. They make contact. But maybe with the ideal line is Steve
Kern's
Hefford as they
catching them.
come down the track now. And on the inside is Steve Hefford, and
Oh,
he's made the race. He's made
oh,
the move, and he's off the circuit though.
slow
Is that going
down.
to be a slowdown? Well, he's going to lose the lead, certainly. Cullinan takes it
Kern's
back,
catching them.
and Kern has made up some 3 seconds in that time. How about this race? It's been absolutely superb, and Ferenc Kern only 1 second off the lead now after being over 10 seconds behind only about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I thought I did say if these guys start squabbling, Kern could be able to catch these guys in no time, and I think these guys squabbling away. Oh,
Oh,
Hefford's
and
out on the
nearly into the
grass.
wall. Hefford's going to hang on to it. He might still be able to fight for the race lead, but he's relinquished that second position just behind Michael Hall and Chris Wood. If Wood can make this move now, he might be able to fight for the race win as well. So he's got to get this one done absolutely immediately. Can't waste any time about it, but he's not going to get it done straight away. Wood was struggling to make the moves into turn 1 earlier on. And once again, he has not made it, and that could be his chances of a podium even out to the window.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just fantastic racing up at the front here. This battle between what was the top two was absolutely awesome. But I think we could be on for a fantastic battle again for the win. And Ferenc is just right behind Cullinan now, and yeah, I think this battle's going to go down to the last lap.
We've got 3.5 minutes to go. I think there'll be 2 more laps then at the conclusion of this one.
Who's your money on, Sam?
I'd say Ferenc. I called it about 5 minutes into the race. So I don't want him to win necessarily. I want it to be close because it would be fantastic if Cullinan could hold on to this one. He's been challenged by about 10 different drivers in this race as Survey Connor. He's had to defend against all of them, and that defense has kept him in this race lead. Up to this point, Hefford's had another spin, and if his race win chances weren't over before, they are now. Things have really gone sour for him in the past lap or so, but now
Kern needs to get a good run in here.
Ferenc
Oh,
Kern
beautiful exit.
started in 22nd position. He's now fighting for the race lead. With Cullinan, he started in 5th place. He took the lead on the opening lap. He's defended for 19 laps so far. Is he going to be able to defend for one more as they go into turn 1? Kern on the outside. He's not going to make it. Cullinan in control, I must say. And Kern, he's trying to go get the cutback now, going into Villeneuve. Does Cullinan feel the need to defend? He might need to defend here, but he's just about okay. And, well, that's just textbook defending there. Absolutely superb from Mick Cullinan.
Oh, yeah, Cullinan.
Oh, down the inside goes Kern. He wasn't quite there, though, and Cullinan still made the apex, but this one is not over because he hasn't got a superb exit, has Mick Cullinan. He's going to have to go defensive. He's going to have to go surely right to the inside of the circuit. He hasn't done, though, and maybe Kern will go to the inside. Not quite.
If I was Kern, I would maybe wait until the straight or maybe the exit of the chicane, because he's just lost a few, just lost a gap, a few tenths there. So if he can get a good exit on the chicane or the final corner, he could get Cullinan on the home straight. But he needs to try and get it done soon.
You can see the chasing back pack just behind. I don't think they're going to catch.
Oh, Kern's got a run.
Only just got over a lap to go. A lap to go for Rafe Cullinan to fend off Ferenc Kern. Kern is going to go to the outside once again. You can outbrake the opponent on the outside here, and that's what he's going to try to do, the Apex Racing UK driver. Not quite, but he's
Come
going
on,
to
Karen,
get
do the
some comeback.
cutback.
It's not a fantastic run, though, from Ferenc Kern, and that's not as good a run as he had on the last lap, but he's still going to surely be side by
I
side
think we could be
going
on for the
into
final
turn
lap.
1. We are going on to the final lap. Yeah, Ryan, you are correct. 1/10 between the leading two. Cullinan hanging on to this race lead for the entire race. Can he hang on for one more lap? Because Kern is round the outside. Is he going to be able
Oh,
to take the
hold
lead
it,
there?
hold
Prince
it.
Kern has taken the lead, and he's maybe just taken the race victory as well. Rafe Cullinan drops down into second position. It was a valiant defense, but he may have just come one lap short.
Oh, that was a fantastic move by Karen. That was, I was so close to making contact. A tiny nudge on the side, but Karen managed to hold it and survive the exit of turn 1, and he's into the lead on the last lap. Absolutely fantastic move.
Well, considering how well he did to defend up to that point, he was not going to easily let that one go. Maybe we'll regret being a little bit early on the brakes going into first corner, but he has been absolutely sublime in his defense. And he's going to be under pressure from Michael Hall in these closing stages. But yeah, he won't really care too much about that, although he would like to hang on to second position. Here comes Chris Woods. Is he going to be able to make the move on Michael Hall in these closing stages? Second, third, fourth, line astern. Cullinan just about has got the gap at the moment. And crucially, 2.5 seconds ahead of these guys is Ferenc Kern. At one point in this race, well, he started in 22nd place. He was over 12 seconds off the lead at one point. But now, really, it's the only time that matters, because Ferenc Kern, after winning race 2 and starting 22nd in race 3, he's going to take
Awesome.
second race victory of the season. Ferenc Kern, a superb drive. It's almost side by side. And
Too
Wood
wide.
is going to get Hall. He has got Hall by 3/100ths of a second. Hall a little bit slow out of that final corner. Wood will not be super delighted with that third position. He will feel like a race victory as possible. They will be pleased to recover right at the end there.
Jesus, I managed to catch a breath after that race. That was fantastic to watch, and that battle for the lead in the closing stages is just. It was so hard to predict a winner, but Karen managed to keep his cool, behind Cullinan, and managed to make the move into turn 1 and make it stick, and went on to win the race. And for me, Karen is driver of the evening for me.
Yeah, I think he certainly scores the most amount of points of anyone. And well done to Ferenc Kern. I think Ray Cullinan as well in that race. But yeah, that was sublime. I keep going on about it, but it was absolutely superb stuff. Kids should study that at school, I think. That was absolutely textbook driving. And Lee Woodburn just going around the final few corners. Also Anthony Jacobson as well to finish. I didn't have a great voice at the start of this race. It's not feeling too good now, but it doesn't really matter too much because that was absolutely superb racing from all the drivers out there.
Yeah,
Uh,
that whole race was just awesome to watch. There was just so many battles through the field, and there was action in the early stages of the race, and a lot of controversy as well. Yeah, most people know my opinion of what Mr. Madsen done, but we'll leave that to the steers to sort out. So, but yeah, as I say, driver of the evening for me is Mr. Kern, and yeah, followed closely by Ralph Cullen and race 3, because he just put up a brilliant defensive drive and managed to finish in P2, and that was just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. It is Prince Kern taking away his second race victory of the evening for Apex Racing UK. Yeah, incredible drive. Absolutely superb. Rick Cullinan, sterling defense. He was leading that race. Well, he may as well have been leading that race for every one of the 21 laps apart from the one that mattered, unfortunately. And that one he did not lead. And he finishes in second place. Still a great effort. Chris Wood got involved in a collision, actually. If it weren't for that, he could have run away with that race victory. But instead, he finishes in third. Michael Hall, great day of racing for him, finishing in fourth. Danny Heney finishes in fifth, and Steve Heppard in sixth. He'll be kicking himself, running in second place with just a couple of laps to go. Michael Blake finishes in seventh with Lee Deemer eighth. There's Jamie Ayres and Kip Stevens. Well done to him, rounding out the top 10. Behind that, it was Max Wright, Ronald Moons, Dennis Melcher, Tristan Bollis, Sam Kume, Lee Woodburn, Anthony Jacobson, and then 13 laps down was Stuart McFadden and Nick Madsen. 14 laps down. Don't really need to say anything about that. Adam McNally finishes in 20th, and it's Flanagan, Danes, and Emil Anderson. Unfortunately, after a couple of really good top 8 finishes, I think, for Anderson, not finishing that race. Not quite sure what happened to him, but hopefully we'll see him back next week. And hopefully we'll get some interview. We did get an interview last time with Ferenc, and that was when he didn't win a race. So hopefully he, after winning 2 races today, that he really ought to have an interview. And he is with us now. And Ferenc Kern, well done. Absolutely superb races 2 and 3. That must feel great to get those couple of race wins under your belt.
Yes, yes, it's amazing. To be honest, from the feelings, I only race 3 because it was from the back to the front. But race 2 win was good, but it still came from the mistake I made in race 1, which brought me on P4 for starting in the starting grid for race 2. So yeah, it's mixed feeling about this, but it was a great meeting. Of course, a bit lucky by having opponents crashing who are quicker than me. But yeah, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And in that race 3, I think it was about 10 minutes in when I kind of thought I think you were running in like 6th place, having really good pace. You were about 10 seconds off the lead. And both me and Ryan were thinking, you could do this. At what point did you think that you could maybe win the race?
There's something around that. I think maybe a bit earlier already because I saw my pace and had some clean air to run to get clean laps in. And from this point, I just thought, okay, push not as quick as you can, but as careful and quick at the same time, just to not destroy the tires, to have something left for the end of the race, have a good pit entry, everything. And yeah, I thought I knew the guys in front of me were a bit slower than me, so I hoped to make it in the end. After exiting the pits, I thought, okay, it's for a second. Then I had one, I think it was Richard Moons on the relative screen, where I thought, okay, didn't he pit or where did he come from? But then I saw he had to pit. And from then I had 4 seconds, and I thought, okay, these 2 guys in front of me will start fighting, which will help me, of course. And in the end, it did.
Yeah, certainly. And managed to get onto the back of them on that last lap. And that move on Rafe Cullinan, was that kind of learning from the experience on the penultimate lap for you to be able to deploy that move on the last lap? Because you were so late on the brakes there, it almost seemed to kind of catch Rafe a little bit by surprise.
Yeah, I tried it. I just I felt the lap before, it felt like there's maybe a few centimeters or a meter more in it to brake a bit later, and it was like I have space to the next one, I have the gap, the next one behind me. So even if I run wide and don't get him, then I take P2 or maybe P3, but it was worth to try it. And in the end, it worked out because I felt most confident in race 3 on the brakes. So yeah, I just did it and saw, okay, that's what comes comes, and it went out good.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, kind of generally through the 3 races, I don't actually know what happened to you in race 1, but certainly from what I saw, your overtaking your race car was kind of very efficient. Whilst a lot of drivers were making contact with one another, you seem to always be keeping it clean. Would you say you were doing anything different to the other drivers out there?
I don't know what they are thinking when they are racing. For me, it's like patience and being careful. That what I lost in race 1 was the patience, where I knew and I felt, okay, I could be quicker than Teddy in front of me, but he defended well, and I just then made the mistake there. Um, for me, it's more like if I get the position, I want to have it clean. To have it, I want to simulate real racing. It's not like it's a sim and I don't care if I crash because it doesn't hurt. but I still destroy somebody else's races. So that's why I rather start braking, even if there are yellow flags and so on. I had it in race 3 now, where it felt like Nick Madsen wanted to go through me because maybe he didn't notice I was there. So I rather brake and let this 1-2 positions go, just not to crash. And I think that's the approach for my racecraft. I rather try it when I think, okay, it's good, and if not, or if I notice it isn't good, I rather try just to spin myself, expect, or not the other one.
Yeah, certainly a couple of drivers out there could certainly learn from your mindset. And yeah, well done out there. And before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank you for the broadcast again. It was good work, as we all get used to. Then I thank our sponsors, JCL, Leo Bodner, Computers, and STK Gaming. Yeah, and I hope to have an interesting endurance race next week.
Yes, Le Mans, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's Le Mans 2 hours, so we will see what's going to happen there. Long straights, can have a meal or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe pop into a nearby cafe or something. Certainly great to talk to you, friends. And yeah, finally, of course, yeah, just well done again. Two race wins today, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here, and have a good night.
We've also got Michael Blake with us now. And Michael, in the end, that race 3, very good result from 19th on the grid, finishing in 7th place. You had a few incidents out there in the end. You got bashed about a little bit, but I think you'll probably be quite happy with your results today.
Yeah, I really happy with how it went. A little annoyed with myself for race 3 because I spun at the chicane on the top of the hill on the first lap and cost myself 12.5 seconds. I finished 9.5 seconds off the lead. So that's a bit frustrating, but yeah, all in all, it was good racing. I got the elbows out a little bit and felt I raced pretty well. Was quite happy with a couple of the moves I made in race 2, even though they were a little bit scary at the time. But yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, of course. Now we're at round 4 of this championship. Would you say that you're a lot more comfortable with the car than you were at round 1, or are you still very much still getting used to it?
I I like the car, and so I feel pretty safe with it. But it's one of those cars that's always got the potential just fraction too much throttle too soon, and it'll snap out on you. It's one of the reasons why I really enjoy this series. Is the car isn't easy to drive.
And we saw, the lap ones out there. I think you were pretty much mid-pack in all of them. Probably got a good kind of view of what was going on. It was pretty chaotic down there. Would you say kind of the driving standards were good on those opening laps, or would you say it was maybe a couple of drivers getting a little bit leery out there?
I think a few people need to be a little bit more patient. They're trying to make too much up on lap 1. Yeah, fair enough. They are really fast drivers. But just because they're fast doesn't automatically give them the right to push people that aren't quite as fast out the way on the opening laps. If they just use their head a bit, they'll get by eventually and still end up in the same position they should end up in. But yeah, they just might make a few more friends along the way.
Yeah, of course. So next week we've got Le Mans, the 2-hour event. Are you going to approach that any differently compared to the normal sprint races? And yeah, are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am. It's got the potential with this car. The fact you can't change the gear ratios. It's going to be quite a lot of drafting, so there'll be opportunity for people if you use your heads to save a bit of fuel and maybe run longer. It's going to be a bit hectic first couple of laps because no matter how fast somebody is, by the time you got to the end of the Mulsanne, everyone's going to be drafted back up to each other. It's going to be pretty tight pack for the first few laps, but hopefully it'll stay quite clean.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. And before we let you go, any shout outs you'd like to give?
Lee for putting this on, and BSR for all the help they give. You guys for the great broadcast, and Drive Doctors and Go Kart World, the sponsors of Simmortal.
Thanks, Michael. And yeah, we'll see you next Sunday.
See you guys. Take care.
So Ryan, I think this round very much reminded me of the Snetterton event where races 1 and 2 we saw great battles, but we saw the leader kind of pulling away a little bit. But that race 3 came down to the wire once again. It was superb battling and superb racecraft amongst those top drivers. We really didn't know what was going to happen next.
Yeah, I think tonight was good. It was good to commentate on as always, and the racing was awesome. And I think next week at Le Mans, we will be in for a cracker at Le Mans. So yeah, it should be, as Michael said, it should be close with the slipstream effect, and with it being I think it's a 2-hour race, I believe. I'll be interested to see what sort of strategies that different drivers will use.
Yeah, that's going to be quite an entertaining race. I'm sure that's coming to you. Yeah, next week, no, next Sunday, same time. Also tomorrow we've got the World GT. I think I don't actually know if it's on or not. But I think it is. So see if it is. Tomorrow evening, and hopefully it will be. I think that's like the 4th to final round or something, or the 3rd to final round. So certainly crunch time in that championship. Also, Tuesdays, of course, Ryan will be racing in the MX5, in the BSR MX5 series. Wednesday, the iRacing Le Mans series. Thursday, the BSR TC. And then next Saturday, we'll actually have the Euro B8 back once again. Of course, on Sunday, you'll be back with us in the BSR Simmortal Porsche Cup. But for now, from me, from Ryan, and from Marco, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.